and a beautiful morning to you out there. This is Daybreak on KAFTAN Television, where we imagine a beautiful world. My name is Miracle Odunayo.
And my name is Joshua Adeji. You're welcome once again to Daybreak Africa. And trust me, you're going to have a great week. Like I plan to have this week, actually.
You always have a plan.
I will always have a plan. All right, welcome back to the show once again. If you just joined us, it's Daybreak Africa. And yes, I hope you're enjoying the reports that we give to you. But now it's time to go straight to our discussions for today. Today, we'll be looking at a very, very topical issue in Nigeria. Today is Monday, actually, so it's a day we have to actually reflect on a whole lot of things. Jamb last week talked about the fact that the UTME results is out, and over 75% of our students got just below 200 in the Jamb exams, and just concluded Jamb exams. And honestly, it's something that we need to sit as a society again and reflect on a whole lot of things. Many people have been bringing lots of issues, a lot of reasons that made many students fail the Jamb exams, talking about the fact that some talked about the planning, some talked about the logistical issues, looking at the fact that some people have to do accreditations as early as 6:30 a.m. and all that, the whole tension and everything. But then a whole lot of things still contribute to this very much phenomenon we have in the society today, and we need to just look at it holistically. And we'll be doing that on Daybreak Africa today too as well. And discussing with us is a guest I'm very proud to actually have in the studio with me. He happens to be educationist. He's also a lecturer. He is a thespian. He's a filmmaker as well. Ladies and gentlemen, in the studio with us is Dr. Charles Ogazie. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you for having me here.
Welcome to the show.
You're welcome.
In fact, this is a very proud moment actually, and discussing this kind of issue at this particular time is sad. But then let me just start with this, Doctor. When you got the information from Jamb talking about the fact that 75% students got below 200 and then just concluded Jamb's examination, how did you feel when you know?
Well, as an educationist, I felt what happened, 75%, that's a whole lot. If they said 25%, understandable. 50%, well, good to go. But 75% is a whole lot. I didn't feel fine. I didn't feel okay with that, analysis or that statistics. But the fact is that it's out and it's out. So, but we now begin to look at what really went wrong, what the steps they can take to better it in the nearest future. I think, like you said, it's a whole lot of angle. We just need to look at this.
But let's start from here. Let's look at the old issues that transpired. Let's start from the place of the logistics and a lot of planning and all that was the Jamb exams. We witnessed situations where people's centers were kind of far from their actual location, though it's the usual Jamb practice, because when someone was complaining about that, I told them I did Jamb too as well. My location was very far from where
I had to travel from my house. I traveled too.
You traveled from your house?
Yes.
Of course, where?
We traveled to multiple places, and they did the exams, though they talked about the fact that accreditation started at 6:30 a.m. in the morning and all that, and they had to do the exams by 8 o'clock, some 10, different times, CBT, some anomalies and all that. And many were saying that maybe that had actually contributed to the failures we had. But from your own take, do you think it had anything to do with it?
Well, the truth be told that every year we have this statistic increasing, because of the population size. We are ejecting prospective undergraduate students every year, and it's getting more interesting. Believe you me, by next year we'll get more, maybe over 2 million that will reserve for Jamb. Well, logistics wise, I think being Nigerian factor now, that's what I want to hit at. It's not only in education, even in politics. You understand that when we're having election, they say, okay, there's transporting sensitive materials to this. To get to some will still get to their centers late. So what do you not say about Jamb having some problem? That is, it's not what we should debate. Well, I think logistics wise, now it's not CBT. So when I did my own Jamb, it wasn't CBT.
Very long time ago.
Traditional ways, actually.
Very frank with it. It was like You go to Jamb office, okay? I bought my Jamb in Ibadan, the Jamb office in Ibadan. I've forgotten where. Is it Ijukodo side there? You go there, purchase your Jamb form, where you have your the prospectus there, the syllabus there, the form itself, everything, just everything. So you just go there, purchase, and you feel and all that. And of course, you expect them to post to somewhere nearby school. That is now different. So it is online thing, CBT and all that. So yeah, when I bought my Jamb, it wasn't that way. So but now we can now begin to finger the technology. Now a lot of CBT centers will need to go and get of course
more gadgets,
ad hoc, and use the word now, gadgets, to just make up. So at Jamb officials will just get, oh, it's okay, working and everything, and they will go. Once they go, they return those systems and
back to their people,
back to the owner. And when the real time comes now, it's something else. So that, and again, some network providers, of course, can also affect these things. That I just finished CBT exam in my university now. It was beautiful. I entered the CBT center. Everything just went within 30 minutes. A whole of it, candidates have finished the exam. I said, wow. Now, what if you don't have good network there? That will be a problem. Students may not finish their questions and all that. So we look at it as a lot of problems that the Jamb needs to actually sit down and address. So
you feel like the location of the CBT center is also very necessary.
Not location now, not location. I mean
the gadgets,
the quality of the CBT centers in terms of hardwares, like computers, their monitors. Don't be surprised that we got a report that some candidates opened the system about answering questions. The system went off. And that of course that's enough to discourage or destabilize such students. We also got news that some of the students also got to the center. They started exam. The generator went off, backed off. So a lot of issues.
But do you think it's weighty enough to just affect the mind? Sometimes our exams can be for students.
You just said it is weighty enough. For people just like cram la poor. So once they see anything that can disturb or distract their concentration,
the thing is off.
It's off. Right. It's like somebody, an actor who has gotten his lines, he has just taken in his lines, and he just climbed the stage. Maybe something happens, psychological noise somewhere, it goes off. You now wonder. So it can affect such student, or as it were. Some students have not really gone through that kind of stress in their lives. So going through, they are knocked off balance.
I even feel like the Jamb exam will be the first CBT exam that they will even ever have, because most secondary school do written exam, even WAEC written exam. So I feel like that might be the cost, because that's the first CBT exam.
Like Mr. was saying, I think this week now, that even the WAEC and NECO and other NAPTEC, and they will soon migrate to CBT. So I think that will make it at least everybody now come to terms that this is the norm now.
But then people feel the CBT actually, because I remember one of the statements, I was checking through the X app, that's the Twitter that we all know, and someone was saying that now that the CBT is here, the issues of that is attached to special centers, exam malpractice is extremely reduced.
Yes,
now, and definitely we are now seeing the reality that our students ain't as brilliant as we actually thought they are. Do you think that's true?
The truth be told here, that like I was saying, before the program, came
started.
Up, yes, that many of our students are not reading again. They are not studying. That's just the truth. Many of our wards are not studying anymore. They rely more on I don't know, maybe there is something that is hard literature, hard books, library, going to library, shopping in the library, reading books, not even reading now, studying now,
yeah.
through the system. But now it's not the same. this issue of phone, I can solve the net to just get, has reduced. I was asking somebody who created AI, human beings. Should human beings be more intelligent than AI?
Or AI should be more intelligent
AI,
than
I think it should be human beings that created AI should be more intelligent than AI itself, but reverse is the case. So many people don't read again, they rely solely on AI to think for them. And you know what that means. For instance, any student writing a Jamb, NIGCOMSAT and stuff, in literature, for instance, we have you must read text, drama text, prose, all those series, but they don't read again. They rely on summary, quick answers, and if you ask them, they look shallow, they look unprepared, for any kind of exam. So you now wonder what is the future of education now. So I don't really want to say that in that aspect, if they score below 200, it's Jamb's fault. I don't want to take it away. Many of our students, many of our prospective undergraduates are not reading any longer. Even most of them in higher institutions, they are not reading as they ought to read.
Why do you think they don't read anymore? Because
library has become a no-go area for many. If you ask my students, how many times you go to the library? Oh no, sir, I don't like library. When I get there, I sleep.
Yes, I think it's the general problem. Library will make you sleep.
No, honestly. So, to a very large extent, I think this problem was not only from this generation. Even many generations have the same issue with library.
You have to comfortable.
For someone like you didn't have.
I didn't have.
For someone like me, I
had the same
library
issue years ago with library. Like I don't like going to the library, but despite the fact that I said I don't like going to the library, I had to go to the library.
To read.
I had to, because now it wasn't about people were talking about the fact that yes, we never really like these things too as well, but we are compelled, and we have to do what was necessary.
Let me just help you. In my own days, we didn't have this let's say network browsing stuff, phone and all that. It's either you go to library to read or you perish as a student. I'm serious then, because you don't have what do you call it now? This soft copy or PDF stuff. You see that you go to the library to look for those materials, hard copy, read in the library, or you make photocopy as it were, and you read at home or come to the library to read. But today, because I believe that students of today should be better off, because they have the world in their hands. At their the fingertips, they have the world is in their fingertips. So you can visit library on your phone. You can do everything possible on your phone. Then it's either you go to library to read or you don't even read and you fail. I may not go to library now, and because I have a serious exam to write, I might sit down with my phone or laptop and study there and then pass that same exam. That's soft reading, isn't it? Soft materials, soft book, e-book and all that. But many, you wonder if you ask some guys, these Gen Z stuff guys, and if you ask them, they don't really have, they don't really believe more in reading, in education, in learning. All they do now, how to make fast money, how to make it, how to become a big boy, a big girl, how to be made famous, popular on social media. Where are we going to?
Now that's where I wanted to land. Like, where are we actually going to?
Yes.
To be very sincere with you, because I like the fact you were able to bring out the place of the reading culture of students. I remember I did a project on that. That was in 2012, 2013. That was my school project then. like leadership culture among youths in Nigeria and all that. Then even social media wasn't as popular as it is today, but then it was already very evident that people weren't going to be reading much as time goes by. And you talked about the fact that our societal priorities has kind of changed. Teenagers these days want to be more of big boys, big girls. I saw a 14-year-old recently that was saying he was depressed. Why are you depressed? I want to buy Benz. I've not bought Benz. And my friend has bought Benz.
They want to be TikTok celebrity.
Yes. I remember that the day this news came up, we were arguing here on this same set, myself and my co-host, and I was telling them, I think some of them were saying it was the university's fault, that they reduced the numbers, and I said no. Even in a generation that wanted to also be big boys, we knew that there's a route you go through, but this time around, no one wants to go through a route. And you talked about the fact that this issue of big boy, big girls, they don't really value education. There's a new slang on the street. Everybody's talking about the fact that school is a scam. I just want your reaction a bit to that statement by many youths today in Nigeria, that school is a scam.
Well, somebody said if you don't value knowledge now, if you don't value, try ignorance. You will know that there is
you can't pay for knowledge, you pay for ignorance.
Exactly. You know, so people don't, they will tell you what's the end product of you going to school. It's not to make money. If I make my money and I didn't touch the 4 walls of school, are we not the same, you know, in the same category? So I said, look, no, it's not the same. How a rich man who is well learned will keep his money, will invest his money, will different from how an illiterate, so rich also, because will keep his money and reinvest his money. Because someone who is an illiterate will need a skilled accountant, or will need a skilled secretary managers to manage his money for him. Because but somebody who is well read, of course, he has double or triple honors. He can take care of that wealth. So you see that the wealth will keep growing. So there's no how. Look at most of our celebrities; they are going back to school because when they get to a point, when they are at a corner, when their mates are saying, yes, I'm a graduate of the States, I have masters, I have PhD, and they are saying, actually, yeah, I'm a millionaire, but I'm a dropout. They feel so odd, no matter how famous. They feel so odd. So they will need to go back to school. So many are returning back to school now, so that they can. It gives you this confidence, in quote, now these teas, that yes, I belong. So I want to say it's not a scam, because if you are well educated, my dear, you will be bold, and your teas will rise over 120%. So you can say anything anyhow. You see, I was somewhere and I met some of my old classmates in secondary school. My dear, they could not come close. This kind of they have lost it. They can't measure up to you again. They see themselves as inferior. That's what illiteracy does. Make you
very
inferior to your contemporary. So I don't want to believe or buy the idea that education is scam. It's never a scam. If it's scam, those that brought education will not still be in the business of education. Okay,
I would like to talk about the issue of this parenting. Can we blame
parents,
this current parenting mood? Because I feel like back in you guys, back in your day, I feel like
there are 3 generations, not even 2 generations only.
Because I feel like
just a transitioning generation.
Oh good. I won't take this from you. Okay. I'm a Gen Z boy.
Yeah, Gen Z. Stick to your Gen.
I'm also a Gen Z.
Okay,
and by nature, I'm a Gen Z too.
So I feel like back, even from my own my parents, you won't score below what they are expecting. Just now you come to the house and you'll be laughing or you'll be pressing phone. You can't do that in our house. So I feel like this day parenting, they don't care again. Maybe business or how to make money is already taking away that discipline from them. So can we actually blame parents because of the poor performance of their ward or their children?
Well, I have talked about the students. Students have their own problems, their own laziness and nonchalant attitude is there. Let's look at, like you just said, Grace, now, the parents. You know, parents have a lot of work to do at home when it comes to parenting their children, grooming them for the nearest future and all that. How can on earth a parent knows that his or her child has exam stated, for instance, in 2 months' time, and the child will come back home and be sleeping or watching movie,
pressing phone,
and the parent who has paid for that exam will so relax and enjoy himself and watch the child. That's not like it's out of place. It's out of place. Now you now also want to blame such, to ask a question, is that parent educated? Because if he or she is educated, you will not watch your child disgrace you. Because a child who does well academically, of course, you say
that's my boy, that's my girl.
But sometimes you just I have neighbors, I'm sorry to say this now, they are not educated. So their child can as well play around the street. Come back, are you read? I've read. No way to measure whether the child has actually read. No chair in the child's room, no table, and you can't even come to watch whether he or she is reading at night. What are you then doing? Who are you parenting, for God's own sake? So it's beyond providing food and clothing. You must also, when they come from school, ask them what they have done in school. Call the teachers, ask. It's a whole lot. So, like you said, I want to also heap the blame on the on some parents also, because if they monitor their kids. Okay, let me ask that question. Now, Jamb said over 1,000,005 scored below 200. Beautiful. Now, but someone's child, someone's son, someone's daughter scored almost 400, over 350.
Over 350. So they were just 1% actually.
So are we not saying that that child didn't come from a home? So most parents are nonchalant. That's just a fact. They are nonchalant. They believe, well, if the child passes fine, if the child is not doing, then the child can go and kosher, and then it's killed. And that one road does not lead to the market, or no water, which is not the right thing. You see, the parents need to wake up to their, numerous responsibilities. I have a fear. Many children that we find today on the streets, many students that we find in primary school, in secondary school, in tertiary institutions, are products of baby parents. Those who can't even, parent themselves before. I don't know. You see, you now wonder. Go to secondary school. We have people who just by mistake they become somebody impregnate them. They become parents. Now drop out. You see them now growing to have somebody who's preparing for Jamb or WAEC. See, even in higher institutions, in your part 1, part 2, you see them, somebody will impregnate the other, and the girl will manage to finish, and you now wonder, the girl is just a small girl, the boy is a small boy, and I wonder, my God, things are really happening.
Just like what someone said.
You now see, sorry my dear, you now see a young lady who just gave birth because of carelessness or mistake, and you now see a baby boy, because you now see that girl, because she's used to all this Gen Z stuff, plaiting hair for the boy, making up for the boy.
They call it the Alte culture.
Is that parenting? Okay. So what do you expect when you get to such environment, when it comes to the boy reading for exam?
They won't take him serious, and everybody wants to. And that is actually really happening.
So won't that parent pay through his or her nose to make sure that child at least just goes ahead of him or her. I stopped my schooling in NC or at NC level, or I stopped at maybe I didn't even finish. Let my child at least move. It's something.
Well, thanks so much, sir. Actually, we just need to just go on a short break. And after this break, I think when we are back, we'll still address some of these issues, profile some solutions where necessary, and then see how things change from. Yeah, but first, let's enjoy Go Start. Very sure you'll be inspired by Go Start. Go Start teaches you a whole lot about business, a whole lot, and encourages you as well to start with whatever you have with you at this particular time. Sometimes you don't need to wait for the billions or the millions to come before you start a skill. Sometimes you just have to just make a move, a very bold move actually. And on Go Start, we give you tips on a whole lot of things to start with. So enjoy Go Start. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the show. I hope you enjoyed Go Start. I hope you are now inspired to do something with whatever you have at hand and everything. But then it's time to go back to our discussion. Before we went on the break, actually, we were discussing these mass failures in Jamb 2025 and what actually went wrong. And we have been looking at so many factors. Before we went on a short break, Dr. Ogazie was talking about the fact that parenting actually played a key role. And you know, sir, you brought us to a perception which I think we need to dwell on for some minutes. You talked about the modern day parenting and the fact that let me just put it in the way I understood, like the indisciplined ones are now the parents of today. Many people who got pregnant by mistake and have actually no business even in the sphere of parenting and marriage and all that. But then I asked myself a question, because I think last week on Daybreak Africa, if you could remember, we were addressing a news story. And one of the news stories we touched was a news story of an 18-year-old boy who impregnated 10 girls in the space of 5 months.
He's very prolific.
10 girls with you. And definitely we could never suggest, okay, let them abort and all that. But now, definitely 10 children are coming to this one. That is if they are going to be actually 10, because we don't know. Maybe twins could be part of the whole squad and all that. Now, 10 children are coming technically, and they are coming to a family of, that is if he even gets married or maybe by force or by mistake is made to take care of all of them. They are going to have a father with 10 other siblings from different mothers and all that. And I made a suggestion that in the United Kingdom or other countries like the United States, the country can even collect the child from you, knowing fully well you are not fit enough. But in Nigeria, we don't have such a system. How do you think we can address this issue of bad parenting we are experiencing today to, you know, address this whole issue of failures we are now experiencing even in our educational sector?
Well, this adage, I don't know if I can put it well. If you fail to plan, then plan. I mean, you'll be prepared. If you fail to plan, then
plan to fail.
Yeah, plan to fail. You just mentioned the fact that we have better system outside the country, advanced countries here and there, like UK, like US, like Canada, and all that. I believe they don't have two heads. I believe they are human beings there. We are also human beings, but it's just because we are nonchalant to many things. Parenting is not just, yes, I'm mature, you know, in nature. I'm a man. I have beards. I think my organs are good enough. The lady also is grown up. She has everything. Her organs are. It's not that. That's not what makes a man, a woman, a woman. You know, many people are not mature emotionally, psychologically to, you know, before they actually go into this thing. People don't plan nowadays. People don't plan to get married. You know, younger. Even, do I shock you? Of course, we know that some people don't want to marry any longer.
Oh, definitely.
Yes, because they believe
a long list.
They believe it's a whole lot of burden, that it's nonsensical to them to get married. I'm not taking care of myself. I want to take care of somebody. You can see where we are going to now. They are not taking care of themselves very well. They want to take care of a woman that will give birth to children. Then tell me, how responsible do you think that father will be? A mother or a lady who just by mistake or by chance found herself as a mother, she doesn't know her right from her left. She doesn't even know what it takes to study. Mind you, she dropped out from school. Mind you again, no parent, in quote now, trained her well. So she would think, she would believe that is the norm. So she would just follow suit. But go elsewhere, advanced countries, and so on, you see that people they have a plan system. I think our problem here is systematic.
Systematic, yeah.
Yeah, they plan them. They planned their for the season from conception, to all the stages. Giving birth to children, they plan for them.
Plan it, yeah.
Primary school, you say kindergarten, they
plan for it.
Till they
get to their tertiary.
Even when they finished as graduate students, they still plan for them. Till life. So, but I don't really understand what is happening to us in this country. We don't plan anything. Everything just goes. Everything goes. So we won't have a good system, a good country, a good education system if we go on like this. I'm afraid a time will come that we won't even need education any longer.
And I don't want to get there. I don't actually want
because
to get
it's
there.
coming. If they can say it's scam. I mean, so I think government has its own problem, yes, but I want to believe that charity, like they say, begins
at home.
So if everybody, even you as a father or mother, you are a government on your own. So manage your family very well. Manage your product as a children now very well. As the Holy Book says, train up a child in the way that he should go, that when he grows up, he will never depart. So it's just there. What brought me this far, I'm not that brilliant, I'm not that exceptional person, is the training I got from my parents. Yes, I tell you, my mother stark illiterate, but she loved education. My father, yes, well read, a lecturer, but he died very early. But I can remember when I was in primary school, of course, being the last born, everything, don't tell anybody, he actually took me, mentored me, he taught me what education is all about. That, little age, that he would ask me, bring your book, need to spell this, and if I miss one, then I know how many
strokes of cane.
I know.
Today they will tell you shouldn't beat the child actually.
So it really helps me, to an extent. And when the man passed on, when I was in primary 6, oh God, I missed him. So, but all he taught me that little time, I got it, and it helped me. Even while I was in secondary school, of course, those days I didn't attend this private secondary school. Like this a government thing.
Yeah, the jealous standard and all that.
Didn't even you are just on your own. Schools, teachers will ask you to start, breaking how do you call it?
Melon
and all these things. So those are times I went to school. During break, my friends go out to go and play football and all that. But at the time, I told myself I didn't have father, so why will I be outside playing? Of course, I didn't have textbooks to read. So I'll borrow from those that have textbooks. I'll go to the nearby empty classroom or vacant classroom or on computer building near the school. I'll read. Or when school closes, I'll go home, read, and return the book to the owner the next day. Now, look at, because I had a mother who would always say, do not disappoint your father. Do not disappoint your father. And all that. So each time she said that, that
brings something to you.
So I don't know how many parents encourage their children to be the best in their different endeavor. So that is it. That's the problem that we are looking at. So it's not really Jamb. Parents should be the first Jamb.
At least from the home. Let's be jamming the Jamb.
Necessarily, they should begin from home and prepare the child. Boy, girl, have you read? Now, what have you read this your subject from first content to last content? But nowadays we are too busy.
Too busy.
Go out in the morning, come back at night. Of course, any child that sees that is the parents' routine, of course they'll be happy.
They'll fix something.
Mommy doesn't ask me, daddy doesn't ask me. So you just, once they see you, just carry book, 5 minutes. I've been reading since morning. What will mommy say? Okay, fine.
That's if mommy even pays attention.
Pay attention. So
everybody's working these days.
It's a whole lot. It's a whole lot. So it is not when a child fails from school, they will say government, they will say Jamb, they will say WAEC, they will say NICO, they will say teachers. Yes, but you are the first teacher too. You are the first institution a child will go through. So it's not really what we are talking about now. I think parents, they need to wake up. Wake up to their responsibilities, or else, I fear.
But I want to ask a question, because honestly, because the way you narrated your story, and sometimes I marvel how you ended up on the theater stage, in theater and all that. But then, because nowadays, one of the things I discovered in this generation is everybody wants to be a content creator, an actor, a filmmaker.
Celebrity.
That's the trend now. If they don't do internet fraud, they want to, even if they're internet fraud, they still want to go into contents and all that. They believe the acting sector, the filmmaking sector is a more lucrative this thing. They love the entertainment so much. And normally, school has taught us that entertainment takes you off reality, which is the harsh truth about entertainment. And I for someone like me who has a bit of thing to do with the theater too, we all know that the industry itself needs a lot of intelligence too as well. So I don't know, how do we balance, because people think, okay, people that go to the industry are extremely unserious and all that. So maybe that's why they don't value books. And we see parents who are giving hot support to these things and all that, even the celebrities and everything. And Nigeria is that like a pool of a whole body that wants to just go into contents or anything goes for them. Now, how do we balance the place of playing hard, enjoying theatrics, content, and balancing real stuffs like education that can also equip you more for those industries too as well?
Well, let me say that to many parents, well, before we have people saying I want to study theater, I want to study music, those arts, it was a whole lot of
stress,
a battle of the fittest. But we thank God people are really
interested,
going into it now, because of course those who have gone ahead, they succeeded. Success has many acquaintances, so when you have when anyone fails, then I don't know,
they don't attach themselves to failures.
Now theater is not for those who study theater or theater artists. Let me tell you, they should be the most intelligent people, because for somebody to bring about reality, he should be a thinker. He should be a creative person, and somebody who is an idiot in code cannot do that. So good actors should be celebrated, because they have become whatever they want to become to educate you. Now, so I don't want to believe that it should be an avenue for someone to say, I want to become unserious. No, because it takes seriousness even to take in lines. It takes seriousness even to write script, even to study roles, even to, if for the singers, for the musicians, it takes discipline for the for them to even imagine somebody. Can you remember all that you said since the beginning of this program?
I can't remember everything.
For somebody who can now sit down to begin to
think,
regurgitate all he has said, or what somebody said, and become the person, it takes a lot of intelligence. So I don't think I personally chose to become a thespian. I didn't give it to me because I failed. No, I wrote that I want to study theater arts, and that I went for. So I had my degree in first degree, second degree, and in third degree. I didn't change. I was not forced into it. So I proposed to get it to the end. So I really want to say that from your question of from your analogy, people should not see them as those or serious set of human beings. Yes, they call them alawada, but the alawada of them
now should be the most intelligent minds of today,
because these are the knowledge hub of any society. The theater artist, the performers, the artists. Remember, let me take you back to the days of, in those traditional days. They rely more on artists to become their they are the historians. They tell you stories.
Custodians of the culture.
Of knowledge, of culture, values. So who else do you want to rely on? Because they carry everybody along. They tell you what you didn't know, what you should know, what you know now, and what you may likely know in the nearest future. So I think people should just balance things up. I think so. Because if they don't balance things up, they can say, okay, time for entertainment, time for play, and they forget what they should do. One of my big mentors, Professor Felix, wrote something like playing dangerously. We don't play anyhow, we play dangerously. So when we play to impact, we play to teach, we play dangerously.
All right, I would actually like to also talk about this issue of university bringing down their cutoff mark. Because I feel like this is the reason why those students are relenting, because they know that even if I score 160
or 170,
one school will definitely admit me. So I feel like, do you think that schools should also make their cutoff mark? We know that they want to make money, of course. They want to make money, they want to admit students and get money. But I feel like the cutoff mark should not be too low, because those things, they will just relax. So what is your own take on that?
There are so many factors. We just heard from Jamb analysis that over 1.5 scored below 200. And about 400 and thereabout, let's say 450,000
for 41,000,
scored 200 above. Now, how many universities do we have in Nigeria?
Maybe 196.
So how many do you want to distribute into each of these? Let's just say federal government universities, state universities, private universities, and all that. So how many will now get to each of these universities? So that's why when Jamb now decide to now give their cutoff, say, okay, 170, 160, it shall accommodate a whole lot, at least, because it's quite embarrassing. 1.5
1.5 million
scored
out of 1.9 plus. So it's really embarrassing. It's really embarrassing. I mean, I think it should be named national embarrassment. Can you see? Because what we are saying now has gotten to every corner of the world. Because of course, social media, trust social media.
I saw how
would they want to now rate Nigerian education again in UK, in US, in Canada, in France, or anywhere? Now that's why when any Nigerian gets there, not even any Africa, when Nigerians particularly to that country, they will need to scrutinize
and screen.
To be sure they will screen and rescreen, if possible, rescreen, to be sure that this person knows his or her onions. So it's not the fault of the universities, truth be told. But if they need to share the 400,000 plus across board, if just do it evenly, maybe, I'm not a good mathematician, let's say about maybe less than 200.
Less than 200 per institution.
It
will be too small.
That's what I'm saying. So you need to accommodate more. Let's make it 180. How many people can we? Okay, let's say 180. We can still accommodate. Now we have about 600,000. Okay, let's make it 170. How many do we have? We have about maybe 900,000. Let's make it 150. Okay, we have about 10. That kind of thing. So that's what really brings about. But I know some first generation universities like UI, like maybe OAU,
definitely.
maybe Uniport, maybe, I don't know. Those
Suka and the likes.
We may not go.
They won't go that down
below 200. They may not.
Because they are outcakes. People want to go there.
Because, of course, what are they looking for again? They have made their mark, even in the world. So
they have the fame already.
they don't. It's not the fame. They have this. Their authority. So if Jamb gives them 200, they are good for them. Let them cook those 200, like bake them to become what brains or what best. That's what they want. So for these upcoming universities, newly, federal government universities and everything, state government, so they want to, even if possible, they can accommodate 110. Don't blame them. That's where they get now. Government has helped them too. I don't know how many institutions that have financial backup now, maybe from government again. So these are the places they get their
monies and all that.
IGL to run the universities and all these institutions. That's what we are saying.
But then, is there a way we can rejuvenate this? Is there a way we can restore sanity a bit to society in the educational aspect? What do you think we do to ensure students are more concerned about their results? And do you think Jamb needs to change anything when it comes to their structure, their logistics, the way they went about it this last time especially? Let's even start from Jamb's logistics. Do you think they should do anything they can change one way or the other so that it can make things way easier for students to come write the exam? So maybe that factor of the tension and the pressure won't be there anymore.
One, I want to advise Jamb that sincerely speaking, if they did not take students out of their location, maybe them traveling from one location to another, maybe them going very early at 6:30 or thereabout. It is okay. All exams start 8 o'clock, for instance, and ends 5 or 6, with all facilities intact and all that. I think Jamb will not be held responsible. So, where do we want to go to or start from? I want to state that it must start from the home. Home is the bedrock. So let every parent or every father, mother talk to his or her words to please buckle up, because it's now a norm. Like you said, now education is calm. My mommy said I must just touch something. I beg them, just go. It's not as if they want to be educated. They want to satisfy mommy and daddy. I'm a lecturer for over how many decades now. The fact is this: students are not enjoying themselves in school. They don't find education interesting. Only few. And what? Some just say, okay, because my parents push me out, them just go, leaving the house for the first time to find pleasure, to enjoy themselves. We see students in class in the classrooms pressing phone, watching film, TikTok inside the class while lectures are going on.
What are universities?
I'm talking about universities now. University. I'm a lecturer. Okay, so you go around, you now see I don't know how many phones have seized. And you now wonder, what are you then doing? Why can't you stay off the classroom? Stay in your room. So I think if parents, like you said, if parents train their children very well, inculcate these values in them, I think they won't disappoint the parents when they come outside the home. They want to read, they want to make the parents or the family proud and all that. So then if we can watch that at home, then the students on their own should now help themselves. What really helps many of us is self-help effort. It's self. You want to be, I want to be better. I want to read. I don't want to come last. Your parents have trained you. You train yourself also. The system will also train you. Teachers, lecturers cannot kill themselves. They are also someone's parents. Do you understand? So it's a chain of reaction within. Then the system also need to be encouraged. Government also need to encourage the system. But nowadays, go to our different universities, different institutions, you wonder, are these ivory towers well, we don't blame all these unions, ASU,
and the
we
rest.
don't blame them because they're also fighting this thing. But we can send our children outside the country where they manage school or where the
infrastructure and everything is very proper.
Know and understand and respect education. But we suffer our own system here. You see, I think holistically everything is wrong. Everything is wrong with our system. Starting from the first point of contact, home, down to the apex, the government. And until we find solution, I think we keep going on a circle.
It's well. Thanks so much, sir, for being a part of this segment. Really appreciate this discussion. I wish we could take more than these, actually. But then it's been a very interesting discussion, actually. And on the note we ended it on, I think that should be a rhetoric for everybody out there. A rhetorical question. We all need to go sit down with something to think about at this particular time. How then do we go out of this? What's the way out? Like he said rightly, he said everything is wrong. The whole system is wrong. From the first point of contact, the home, down to the top, which has to do with the government. Once again, thanks so much, Dr. Ogazie, actually, for being a part of this. Really appreciate you. But then it's time to go for sports. And yes, I know some of you want to enjoy sport. After sports, we just come back here, say our goodbyes on Daybreak Africa, and then we're good to go. So please stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the show. I hope you enjoyed sport as much as I did. And yes, this is where we say goodbye on Daybreak Africa.
Yeah.
I don't even ask much whether you guys enjoy sport again, because I know you don't enjoy sport.
I don't enjoy sports. I don't like sports.
You don't like sports.
Yes. There's no point asking me. So.
Well, what did you score in Jamb 7 when you wrote your Jamb, actually?
That's a very...
Okay, let me not ask you.
I can say it's not as if it's bad.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to say it on this show.
But you're not among the 75%.
I'm not.
Definitely. We can.
Do you know how many schools actually gave me admission that I was like, no, I'm not going, I'm not...
Being there.
Hey.
You're becoming proud.
I'm proud of myself because I read for that exam. Like,
yeah, that's one thing. Read actually, and it's very important. I think we would like to just take a cue from what Dr. Ogazie said, where he talked about the fact that it shouldn't even be called that mass failure should be called national disaster, actually, because it's actually a disaster.
Seriously.
When you're having because education actually shows your human resource. Because if your human resource has low IQ, then definitely we are in a very dangerous situation. And part of your human resource are those that wrote Jamb. So imagine 1.9 million that should be part of your workforce and 1.5 million failing. That means you only have 400,000 you can even count on for intellectual activities in that aspect.
That's a
which
lot.
shows that it's kind of a lot, actually. And like he said rightly, we need to fix up, starting from the first point of contact, which we talked exclusively on the family, down to the top, which happens to be the government. But then I just hope that things change as soon as possible.
I hope so too, because this is really, I'm just this coming generation. So how will they?
We are shaking our bodies too much on social media and dancing too much to things we shouldn't dance to, and not realizing that we are celebrating in futility. The time comes, I just hope that our dangerous celebrations don't turn to things that will be a funeral of sadness to us at the end of the day, because we are totally bereft of a societal system. But then it's time to say goodbyes on Daybreak Africa today. We'll meet tomorrow once again on the same place, same station. My name still remains Ikhonede Joshua Yodeji.
And my name is Miracle Odunayo.
Bye, guys.